we're talking with. And I do see that we have a person lurking on Netlogger, WB6DXR. If you would like to join the group, please let us know. We're listening now.
Okay, roger that. Whiskey Bravo 6, Delta X-Ray Romeo. Good evening, Patti. And I am on frequency, and we're willing to participate. Over.
All right, wonderful. We'll add you to the list, Les. Thanks for being there. And I know your call is familiar, but I don't have you on my list yet. I keep a little file of the frequent flyers, shall we say. So I'm going to put you on there because I know I've heard you before. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Patti. Yeah, I was relaying for you a couple weeks ago when Hayden was out of town on the Brega Rams net. That's probably remember my call sign.
Yes. Now that you've mentioned that, it rings many bells. Well, thanks for being there, Les. And would you want to be on the reminder list? I send out a email to those who want one on Sunday mornings or somewhere close to Sunday morning. Today it was late. With whatever the topic is going to be.
Sure, yeah, go ahead and put me on. I'd enjoy that. And how's my signal? I've got you about S8, over.
You're about 10 over S9 here.
Okay, roger that. We got good propagation. Okay, I'll stand by, and thanks for bringing me in. I appreciate it. WB6DX Radio.
Sure thing, Les, and just to double-check your email on QRZ is okay?
Roger, roger.
All righty, very good. I'll add you to the list. I try not to overdo it, but I do both send out the reminder in the morning, and then just before the net, I send out an updated email advising of the frequency that we're on, since it tends to change each week, depending on availability. Well, let's see. We're getting close. We've got 7 more minutes before the top of the hour. And I do see one more lurker, Brian, KF8FWS. Did you wish to join us? I could hear you talking, but I couldn't make out the words. Do I have a relay?
Yeah, he's welcome to stick around here. I'll say greetings to you there in Michigan, and he gave you a great report, Patti.
Okay, I knew he was talking, and I could hear a word here or there. I just couldn't piece it together, and that is the KF8FWS, correct?
I believe so, Brian. Can you confirm Kilo Fox Whiskey Sierra?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. That is correct. Kilo Fox Whiskey Sierra. You bring your impression just a moment ago here. Just like pick up what you were speaking with one of my old yes, phone.
It sounds good. You're 5 dB over S9 on about S unit or 2 above the noise level. So you're doing okay here in southern Albuquerque. We'll call it Baja Albuquerque in the middle Rio Grande Valley. Go ahead, Patti, S2GG.
All right. I heard him a little bit better that time. I could piece 2 or 3 words together. So I think propagation is shifting a little bit, and I'll probably hear you fine next time around. For those of you who are new, this is called the Ladies' Conversation Group. It is not intended to exclude anyone. Everyone is welcome. But we ask you, if you have a lady in the house who is willing to participate and join us, to please bring her along. We love to hear the ladies' voices on the air. And I think this is a place that people who maybe have an interest can develop it a little bit and gain some confidence for pushing the PTT button. Anyway, tonight's topic is going to be, it's a little hard to describe, but you know those things we used to do years gone by, things like fax machines, floppy disk drives, pagers, etc. Well, there's lots and lots of those things that have either gone into disuse or completely out of use. And I'm wondering what you're thinking of in that category, and do you still use it? The example that I gave in the reminder email this morning was paper maps. Remember when you would just drive up to the first gas station you came to in a new state and ask for a map, and they would hand you one, and then you'd open it up and never fold it back right again, and and use it for figuring out where you were going? Well, I do, in a sense, still do that. Not go to the gas station, but use maps. I always have an atlas in the vehicle with me, because I find it very interesting to use them and to see alternate routes and, maybe a way around a detour, things like that. And last year, I taught my, at that time, 15-year-old grandson how to use them, because he's my navigator when we go to Canada, coming up in the middle of June this year. Anyway, here I am jabbering away. Let's see if there's anyone else out there that wishes to be joining the list here. We're all listening now. I did not hear anyone. Any relay? KK6ITB, I am hearing you. The signal is a little bit low, but I'm able to put your words together.
Beautiful. Yeah, you're coming in just a little bit, a little way in, a little out, but I'm on Netlogger, so I'll wait my turn. Next time I have to go to.
All right, great, Ralph. Well, you're on the list in position number 15. So Deanna, thank goodness for Deanna. She's out there quietly doing her net logging, and she picked you up. You're on there already. Okay, very good. Anyone else? We have 2 more minutes before the top of the hour. We try to start promptly. So if anyone is out there who wishes to join the list, please let us know now. We're listening.
Whiskey 5, Mike Hotel Golf.
Whiskey 5, Mike Hotel Golf. Hi there, Mark.
Well, good evening and hello to everybody. Patti, how are you doing tonight?
Well, I am doing well. I have some big events coming up in the next few days I'm very excited about. Excited and a couple of them a little bit on the nervous side, but glad to be getting past all the things going on this week. It's going to be a good one. How about you, Mark?
Well, thanks for asking. Well, anxiety is good a little bit anyway. Keeps us on edge, I think. Anyway, we're doing well, and it's the top of the hour, so I'll get out of the way and let you get the, it's almost top of the hour, so, but we're doing well. Thanks for asking. We are recording, and we'll have a YouTube up after the net sometime. W5MHG will be standing by.
All right, wonderful. Well, Mark, when you have your turn, in addition to responding to the topic for tonight, please remind everybody again of your YouTube page, because there are some new or sort of new people here. Some of them are, have been here a couple times. And it's fun, at least it's fun for me. I'm not sure about the rest of the world, but it's fun for me to go back and re-listen from a different position. As you know, trying to keep track of everything keeps you a little on your toes, and maybe you're not listening as closely as you'd like to. But anyway, we also have W7PD who has joined us on Netlogger. I'll give you a quick welcome, Tommy, and see if I can hear you.
KE7IR in the group, W7PD. Good evening to everybody. I don't know, can you hear me?
I hear you direct, lightly, and I hear you fine on the SDR. So you're at work, I presume. That means you may be there, you may not, right?
Negative, I'm at the QTH today.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were at work. Well, good. I guess in that case, we'll hear you on as the round goes through, and hopefully you're ready with tonight's topic. You got the email, I think. Let me know if that's true.
I'm ready with tonight's topic. I didn't hear the second part of that question, though.
Okay, come up with something. You've got a little time. You're in position number 17. All right, very good. It's 1 minute after the 0200 Zulu hour, so we're going to get started so I don't keep you here too long. We try to go an hour or less. Don't want to keep people tied up too long. But thank you all for joining. It's wonderful to have everybody here this evening, and I'm very anxious to hear your responses to tonight's beginner topic. For those who are somewhat new, we do one round of an assigned topic. Tonight's topic is, what is it that you used to use in the past that has become not necessarily obsolete, but seldom used, but perhaps you still use, and if you do, why? My example was paper maps instead of GPS, or in addition to GPS in my case. So that's just to give you an example of the type of things we'll be talking about. With that, let's move over to Deanna and 9ASN and see how she's doing. Hello, Deanna. Uh-oh, the buzz is back.
Those cables.
I think you need to wiggle the wires there, Deanna. Something's causing you to buzz. We'll give you a second there and one more try, and if not, then we'll move on to Billy and double back to you.
She's all good.
I'm sorry, what was that?
This is in 9ASN. I guess you can hear me, right?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you great. KE7IR.
Okay, sorry. Put my finger there. Yes, this equipment is strange to me. Anyway, the topic tonight. Well, probably what I'm going to mention, nobody on here, well, maybe you, Patti, has heard of, so I'm going to talk about it anyway. Growing up, I was the one in the family who had to do the ironing every week. And back then, everything was 100% cotton, and everything got ironed, from handkerchiefs to pillowcases to my grandpa's underwear, actually. And so what I had to do was put all the clean clothes on the table, pile them on each other. I had a bushel basket lined with towels, and I had this sprinkler bottle that I sprinkled all the clothes with one at a time, rolled them up after I sprinkled them, and put them in the basket. And after everything was sprinkled, I covered the basket with another towel and waited about an hour, and then I started ironing. What my sprinkler bottle was a glass bottle. Oftentimes it was an old Coke bottle. And then there was this kind of triangular-shaped thing with a cork on the end that went in that bottle, and it was round, and there were holes in the end, and the water came out. That was my sprinkler bottle. Of course, those are no longer in use. I don't have one, and I doubt that anybody else does. And that's my story. So back to you, Patti.
Well, I had not thought of that, but I certainly remember those days, although my mother was a little more modern. She did not bother with ironing sheets and underwear and socks and things like that, but certainly shirts, especially my dad's shirts and various other things like that were outerwear, we did have to iron, and I learned at an early age how to iron. We don't do that much anymore, do we? That's interesting. All right, very good. Before I turn this over to Billy, let me see if the two lurkers, we have someone N0HTD and a WD8KLL. Do either of you wish to join the list? I did not hear anything. Any relay?
Alpha Bravo 6 Kilo Bravo.
I heard Alpha Bravo 6 Kilo Bravo. We're on with the Ladies Conversation Group. Would you like to be on our list tonight?
Well, I would. I'll explain. I have guests in town, and I'm trying to explain to them about ham radio and amateur radio, and I'd appreciate it if I could kind of hang with you guys and perhaps have a guest, the kids kind of come in on my call sign, if that would be okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What's your name and location, over?
Alpha Bravo 6 Kilo Bravo. This is Kent. Kilo Echo November Tango.
And where are you? Monterey Bay.
Yes, Monterey Bay, California, Santa Cruz.
Okay, Santa Cruz. Okay, Santa Cruz. Well, welcome aboard. I guess you weren't here earlier, and Billy knows you. Billy, we turned it to you a couple of minutes ago. Do you want to go ahead and pick it up?
Okay, Roger. This is W5GHU with the Ladies Conversation Group. Have to get that SCR turned off. Let's see. Well, a lot of the technology from the past I'm not using right now. What I am using is the iPhone, and about everything else I'm not using from the technology past. I like the maps, Patti. I've got some maps of Cornwall that are important to me because I follow routes that authors were used in their novel on the roads in Cornwall. So I like the paper maps, and I do have a supply of the paper maps. So, but about all the other technology I'm not using, and it's way back. I remember where we had the ironing board before 1950, and I haven't been able to remember where we had the ironing board after 1950. Maybe we weren't using one after 1950, so that's that story. So let's see. I'll turn it back to you, Patti. KE7IR, W5GHU.
All right, very good, Billy. I'm glad that you popped on there because I was listening to you on the SDR to supplement. I could hear you direct, but suddenly I heard nothing, and somehow or other my internet decided to disengage with Netlogger, but I got it going again, thanks to you through your voice reminding me it needed to happen. I did want to make a comment to Kent, AB6KB, and the visitors in your shack. You're very welcome to be here. We have put you at the bottom of the list, your position number 18, so we have a few people to go through, but I did not want you to worry about being ignored for so long. We will get to you, and hopefully your friends can enjoy hearing some of the other folks who will be talking. So for now, we're going to go back to Gil, N2GG, and Dana, K2JOY, and they're going to respond to tonight's topic. So here we go. Your turn, Gil, KE7IR.
This is Nancy Golf Call. If you hear weird noises in the background, we speak our posture. Deanna would like to give her comments first. Here's just that.
Well, I do remember, this is K2J, oh my, when we used to have landlines, the phones, and then they turned into cell phones, and they were like really antiquated at first, and the huge big phones they had before they had phones and then flip phones, and now our phones are computers, and do a lot of things. So that was my story.
Okay, and I'll just grab the headset and put it back on my head. This is N2GG. And I'm thinking about stuff really that popped in my mind. Back when I was a kid, like junior high school, we used to go to, I grew up in Southern California, South Case, we used to go to Save On Drugstore. And that was back when chewing gum and candy bars were a nickel. And Save On Drugstore would have a special where you could buy 3 dating ourselves, but yeah, I miss those days. Anyway, but otherwise, some people nowadays would rather text than talk on the phone. That bugs me. So it seems like phones are going out of style and people are talking with their fingers. But I'm being drugged, kicking and screaming to that modality. The other thing that I do some that a lot of people don't do is Morse code, CW. And I know Patti is a star CW performer now too, having completed the course in CW Academy. So again, congratulations on you, Patti, for that. So anyway, maps, of course, I used to live on maps. You used to have to keep time in your pocket because if you got stuck somewhere, you had to make a phone call. We don't do that anymore. Anyway, and the list goes on and on. Anyway, let's see what John says. 30, Victor Alpha Charlie. You're next. There's your phone call. Golf, K0, BAC. Hope you can copy me, okay? Thanks very much for letting me in here. And it looks like a great list here tonight. My story has to do with my master's degree. In 1975, I did a master's degree in marine biology, and I had to type up my master's thesis without any errors to the university. That was a difficult thing, because the only thing we had in 1975 was a manual typewriter. So I have an Underwood manual typewriter that I used to type my master's thesis, and I have a certificate from my typing teacher in high school for 72 words a minute on a manual typewriter. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. K0VAC.
Wow, that's pretty good on a manual. Was it a Royal? Underwood. Okay, I don't think I ever typed on one of those. My typing class in high school had the old Royal typewriters, you know, the kind with the hammer-type keys. And then when we moved to the IBM Selectric that had that little ball on it that moved back and forth, you could go really fast on those. But your fingers were strong in those days because it had to be. It took quite a bit of power moving those keys at a quick pace. 72 words per minute. That's amazing. Better than I ever did on a manual. All right, let's see what Doug remembers. WT6R, this is KE7IR.
KE7IR in the group, WT6R. Well, every time somebody brings something up, I'm shaking my head. Yeah, I thought of that too. In fact, just to John's point there, I can remember I had typing class in high school, and I was well over 20 words a minute, uncorrected, but when Mrs. Nichols would correct me, I had trouble breaking 20 words a minute. I don't know what was going wrong there, but I think that was on a Royal, like you said, Patti. Well, anyway, out of my head, when I was thinking about this, there's about three things that I really miss. One, I really miss Word Perfect. I don't know whether you remember when Word Perfect was well before Word came out and other word processing programs. But Word Perfect was in the time frame of Netscape Navigator and whatnot. And I knew every keyboard shortcut there was. So I never had to do anything but use keyboard shortcuts to bring up new lines and copy things and copy all kinds of things that you could do. And then the other thing that I thought of today, looking at it, is I have lived in this house here for over 37 years, and I've never used the dishwasher. I love my dishpan, and I wash dishes by hand all the time, and Deanna is trying to get me to change my ways, but it'll happen pretty soon, I think. But I really miss my dishpan and like to get my hands wet when I do the dishes. And one other thing, I was cleaning out some bookshelves today, and I came across some books, and I was hoping that Ed would be here, K6EXY. I came across 3 site reduction tables for navigators, which are basically, well, if you know what they are, they're for navigation at sea and for various sections of the ocean that can basically convert what you read with your sextant into into a small line on your chart for the surface of the Earth. And I still to this day kind of would rather rely on a sextant rather than an iPhone or some kind of electronic means. I would feel lost at sea if I didn't have a sextant with me. So anyway, that's my story, Patti, and nice to hear you. A good signal by everybody so far. I have not needed the SDR at all. And hello to Tommy if you're out there. I'm waiting to hear what you come up with. Let's see, KE7IR, I'll let you pass it on. WT6R.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Doug. Those are good things. I remember word perfect, but not as precisely as you did, and I certainly was never as good at it as you were, but I do remember it. I'm calculating, and if I calculated correctly, you moved into your house in 1989?
Actually, it was September 22nd, 1988, so very close.
Okay, very good. I guess I did my math wrong, but that's interesting. My birthday was the next day, September 23rd, and my brother's is September 22nd. That's interesting. We moved into this house in 1992. I thought I'd have the record, but nope, you beat me. All right, let's see what Jim over in California has to say. Let's see, AE6EG. Jim, your turn.
AE6EG in Santa Maria, California, Patti. Well, I certainly took a chance for in the 60s. I had to have one of those laptops that flipped around, and that's the way I got around. Kissed one of my passengers and drove a lot across home from the bar. Then I went to work for the evening outlook in town. The underwood typewriter, which I used, and it's a great cut. But then I got a computer, etc. So that's my story, and thanks for doing that, Patti, and I hope to see you later on in the next one. And I'm going to go in and get some dinner with AE6EG. AE6EG, I'll be clear. Back to you guys.
All right, wonderful, Jim. Good to have you with us, and happy to do the net. This is one of the fun activities I get to do each week, and I sure look forward to it. So thanks for being there, and thanks for the comments on the old ways. All right, Brandon, welcome, and hello from Patti to Brandon. This is N5ICQ. This is KE7IR. N5ICQ, your turn.
N5ICQ, are you still with us, Brandon? It's your turn, over. Apparently he's moved on, Patti.
All righty, we'll gray him out then. Let's try KR6BB, George. One more time, Kilo Romeo 6 Bravo Bravo. George, are you there?
Kilo 6BB, it's your turn to copy, over. Well, must have wandered off for dinner there, Patti.
Yeah, I guess we bored him to death or something. All right, how about John, WA7SO?
I believe that got called there. WA7SO.
Strike three. One more time, WA7SO.
He was there.
Okay, I've been a terrible driver in Patti. Well, I've taken it to purpose today, and this will be questions asked but it happened to wilderness when I was a youngster. We took off the back the garbage was groceries. You see a couple of candles on it, and it wasn't uncommon for someone to throw coffee in it. So halfway up the board, and coffee back up. So I remember not finding you, but back to the net, WA7. You're on.
Yeah, okay, John. Yeah, talking about the paper garbage sack, this is when I on the ground a little bit. All right, thanks for sharing. Patti, go ahead.
All right, very good. Well, those paper sacks have some good uses. I remember my mother opening them up and making book covers out of them for our school books. And so they did have some good uses, but wet coffee grounds, no, not so good. All right, let's see what Les has to say. WB6DXR, this is KE7IR.
Yeah, KE7IR in the group. Whiskey Bravo 6 Delta. Romeo, good evening, everybody. I had wonderful coffee. If you have a choice for recent paper maps, I actually had to buy a Netlogger when I went to Southern California recently to pick up the amplifier that I'm talking to you guys on right now. Because I couldn't find any maps that are recent, and I had to make a note there, and it doesn't seem like changes once I got into the valley to get where I was going. So I've been putting it off for a long time, but I finally got one of the things that tells me what to do, which I really don't like, but it sure works nice. I'll keep with that. But if you have a source for maps, that'd be great. My thing is, I guess, scheduling. Use the calendar. My wife and I, we have calendars going back for over, long time, decades. And we use that as our reference point for stuff when we're thinking about things. Because we put all sorts of things on there when we get a new dog or events that happen in our lives and whatnot. It goes on the calendar and we save all those. So we have a old reference. So that's my story there, and I still use the calendars, although I do use the phone for reminders sometimes with the alarm, but not as much as probably most people. Okay, KE7IR, Whiskey Bravo 6 Delta X-ray Romeo, over.
Alrighty, Les, and no, I do not have a particularly good source for maps, but what I do is I buy a new road atlas about every 2 or 3 years, and they seem to work quite well. And that's actually when I mentioned my grandson and teaching him how to use the paper maps, that actually is what I was teaching him from. And I think, after a little while, he came to see some of the value of being able to see, the whole state and where you were in the state and that kind of thing. So, you lose a little something with the GPS, although I do use it, and I find it very helpful. But the road atlas or a map, if you have it, just gives you a different view. All right, very good. Where are we? I'm all lost and discombobulated here. I think we go over to Craig. KK7WUJ in Moses Lake. It's your turn, KE7IR.
WUJ, Craig in Moses Lake.
I used to do a lot of wilderness hiking, and one of my must-go-to tools was P38 camera kit. I guess you have to be in the military or something, but it's this little small thing that would fit in a wallet or a pocket, and you can open it with pens that have holes on it. You could use this to open and scan out what have you. And I used to use that, and I used to use a Metzger's map and a compass, for God's sake. There was no GPS or no small electric for where you were at. And the wife and me, we would pack up that map and put maps on our dogs. And we would take off on one mountain, and we'd have someone put us up and be sure that all will arrive at this other place in a week or whatever. But P38 candle, well, I'd like to hear if anybody remembers what those were at. But the weight of opening canvas, hammer beams, or anything with because there was no such thing as a full-time anything. So, I thought that was fun. So, yeah, Patti, I love your still using maps. I used to use the Messenger Google Maps and a compass, and I could literally go from one mountain range to another mountain range, and it was just, I think that was a root skill that not many children nowadays could comprehend. So this is KK7WUJ back to KE7IR.
All right, very good, Craig. And I do remember the little can opener that I think was part of a Swiss Army knife, maybe. I have to admit, I never used it, but I do remember them. And certainly a compass and a map were, that was part of Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts back in the old days. Been a long time ago now. But, yeah, it's interesting how life has changed. All right, let's see what Brian over in Michigan has to say on this topic. KF8FWS, it's your turn. KE7IR.
Patti talked about paper bags. I remember French fries. Dump your French fries in there and knock the grease off and put salt on them all at the same time. But I'll go right back to where Patti was coming from when I started on the road in the CNC Captain Family Country. Go to where KF8FWS.
All right, I think you finished. I was listening to you on the SDR, Brian. Did you get everything said that you wished to?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
All right, very good. I had just a little fade on you, and I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just my equipment failing. Well, thanks for giving us that information, and I do remember MapQuest and printing things out, although I really don't do that anymore. Between my Atlas and my GPS, it's pretty sufficient. Well, very good. Nice to hear you, Brian. I heard that you're on an NVED and you were barefoot, so doing pretty good considering all that. So thanks for being here tonight. All right, let's go over to Ralph, KK6ITB. Hope you can hear me okay, Ralph.
was talking about Ford, they had a the same thing. This is to get that stuff absolutely dead right on the
Thank you very much, Ralph, and 73s and 88s to you, too, and everybody in your household there. Just got a message from Brian, KF8FWS. I guess he's had enough of the noise here, so he has decided to move on. So thanks for being here if you're still listening, Brian. All right, over to Mark, W5MHG with the big signal tonight. This is KE7IR.
KE7IR, W5MHG. I switched antennas. How copy?
Excellent. 20 over S9.
Okay, just double checking. I'm going to go with the old-fashioned flathead screwdriver. That's all I can think about. But I use it almost, every week, give or take. So got one in my utility bag here. Anyway, thanks. Good question, by the way, thought-provoking. And we are recording. It's going to be on YouTube. Y Ham Radio. That's the letter Y, Ham Radio. You can plug that in your YouTube, and we'll have it up there by the end of the evening here. Patti, thanks so much for doing a do. And Word Perfect. I remember that one too. That was a good one. Back to KE7IR, W5MHG in the group.
Well, thank you very much, and I love my flathead screwdriver. In fact, today, we were having a wind advisory here earlier today. It actually started at 3 in the morning and gradually built up so that around noon here, we were having pretty good gusts. So I went outside in order to take my tower down a little bit, make it a little bit more stable because it's a sort of a telescoping type tower, and I feel a little more comfortable in a big wind with it nested together, not completely, but lower than usual. Anyway, how do I get into the box where the plug is for plugging in the winch? Well, I use a flathead screwdriver to open that lock up because I don't know where the key is, and it works just fine. So anyway, I hear you, and you made me laugh and think about that when you brought that up, Mark. All right, over to Tommy, who now knows that he may have a job of putting that tower back up for me next time I see him. W7PD, KE7IR.
KE7IR in the group. This is W7PD. As for things that seem to be forgotten, I would say physical media, DVDs, CDs, records, tapes. People don't seem to have much use for any of that stuff anymore because everything's digital media through your phone or computer or whatnot. But I still think the physical copies sound and look better when you're looking at them. Anyways, that's all I have for right now. We've got some good signals tonight. Gil, you're 35 over S9. I've never seen my needle go up that high. Everybody else is nice and strong too. And I believe it was Craig, the P38. I have one on my keychain. Anyways, I'll turn it back over to the group. This is W7PD.
All right, and he is not an old man. I'm his mother, so that tells you he's of a different generation, and he does know the can opener, Craig, so that's pretty cool. Not everything has been lost. Let's go to AB6KB, Kent, for your turn. This is KE7IR. Alpha Bravo 6, Kilo Bravo, are you there, Kent?
Give it a try. Alpha Bravo 6, Kilo Bravo, Kent, if you're there, come now. Okay, I can't seem to be there, Patti, but I did hear a break. Who was the break station?
Oh, thank you. This is Michael in Clear Lake, AE6OP. I'd just like to belatedly join in the rotation here.
Yeah, okay, Michael, Clear Lake. What was your call again?
Alpha Echo 6, Ocean Pacific.
All right, Alpha Echo 6, Ocean Pacific. Nice call, too. We have another Alpha Echo 6 in here. All right, so you'll be right near the bottom of the list, I think. Yeah, we'll get you in there. That's Alpha Echo 6, Ocean Pacific. And nice to hear you in here, Michael. Okay, so after Kent, one last try. Kent, are you there? I think we could be grayed out. Kilo Golf 6, Yankee Victor Delta. Hayden, are you with us? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm right here. I won't say I'm lively as I got up at 3 a.m. after a very busy week that went through the weekend, and yesterday, or this morning, 3 a.m., we got up and went down and picked up the tower, portable trailer tower, and did the local Fallbrook Avocado Festival, and got home, well, now it's been an hour and a half ago, so very exhausting day of communications and whatnot, but we made it back home, and I didn't catch the topic at first, but I finally caught on, things that had been forgotten, and I concurred with a lot of people. D38, paper maps, the typewriter. That's an interesting one when it was mentioned, the typewriter, because as a youngster, my dad made us, my sister and myself, learn to type at a very young age. I started typing at 8 years old, and it was a Royal manual typewriter. And when I got into 8th grade, they put on my schedule typing class, and I didn't think I needed it, but I thought, what the heck, you know, and I went in there, and they gave us a book and opened it up, and I was supposed to follow along, so I did, and next thing I know, I didn't hear any of the other students typing, and I stopped and turned around and looked behind me, and the principal, his secretary, and my teacher were standing behind me, watching me type, and to put the story short, they put me on the electric typewriter the next day, which was new to me. I'd never even seen an electric typewriter. So I made a few more mistakes before I got used to that, because of the pressure on the keyboard was a bit different. but I was typing at a very young age, and I still do very well with a keyboard. But I don't know if I could do it at all with a manual anymore, because keyboard on a computer has a much lighter touch. But I still remember where every finger goes. Kilo Golf 6, Yankee Victor Delta, and Rainbow, KG6 5D, back to net control, Patti.
All right, very good, Hayden. I remember those days, too. I remember learning using a record that my dad had. That was the first, and then I ended up in a typing class, much like you, but I wasn't the big star that you were. Anyway, let's see what Bruce has to say on this subject. I'm really enjoying all your recollections tonight. KB7CQ, this is KE7IR. Yes, I can. I think you're talking about the Coleman lanterns that use propane, or yeah, I think so. Is that right? Yeah, I remember that. And actually, in my cottage in Canada, which was originally built in probably about 75 years ago, the original part of it. It actually has the gas lines through the house for 3 gas lanterns or lamps, and we still use those. Not every day, but it's a nice soft light, kind of nice. Gives you a good mood when you use them in the evening. Anyway, that brings back happy memories for me. Let's see if Lou has something to contribute here. KW2KW. Good to hear you again, Lou. KE7IR. Well, maybe. Are you there, Lou?
KW2KW, you're up. That's your DG.
We might have gotten into his evening eating hour. One more time, KW2KW. Yeah, I think we lost Lou along the way. Sorry about that. I always enjoy hearing him. All right, AE6OP, Mike, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Patti. Just stumbled in about 20 minutes ago here, and I've been enjoying it, and kind of flood of ideas about what I missed, and trying to winnow it down to something simple. But I kind of a nostalgia junkie. That's the word for it. 73 years old, and started in ham radio and radio at age 7, building that kit, walkie-talkies, and going on from there. But I have a strong memory of how things were, and there's so many things that are wonderful about the way they were that we still have and still can have. There's some of those things that are not so accessible or not so available in this globalized, I think partially overpopulated world, is the 1940s and 50s holiday boating, going out on the lake and having boating experiences with some of the old Chris-Craft boats. And in my case, I actually have been involved with restoring 1940s, 50s steelcraft in West Haven, Connecticut. And I have I really have a sense of longing for how it used to be when one could go out and meet all kinds of people and have joyful interactions and just enjoy the simple pleasures of boating and holiday experiences there. And that's really harder to do. I live on Clear Lake here, California's largest natural lake, and this lake is a paradise for that. And there's hardly any boating going on except for bass fishermen these days. Hardly any businesses out there to support them. But also there's another subject, there's the melodic beauty and intelligence that we had in the 40s and 50s and even 60s music that just isn't being given to us now. And I think that's partially because we don't have the simple way of living that we used to have back then. And I think computers, the digitization of our culture has a lot to do with that. As a composer and recording artist myself, that worked live to tape back in the 70s in electronic music, I've seen the whole transition from analog instruments and analog recording into computer-based digital recording. And I found that it stifled my own creativity when I was recording and composing for tape live. There was more of a sense of coming up and getting in the zone and actually creating something beautiful. So I think that's been lost, and I miss that. So I can go on and on, but that's long enough. This is AE6OB. Very much appreciate the topic, and it's been great listening to the last 20 minutes or so of the others' points on that. AE6OB. Back to you, Patti.
KW2KW.
Oh, good. You're back. Hi, Lou. We called you, but you probably went to eat or something. Take a turn. KW2KW. And thank you for your comments, Mike. That was interesting.
Oh, yeah, I explained that in the AIM window. I had a little SWR problem. My amp cut out. Anyway, it's holding up now. It's 1.7 to 1. KW2KW, Ramona, California. The conversation about typewriter. Well, first of all, I have a Swiss Army knife that has both kinds of can opener, bottle and can in it, as was mentioned earlier. But the typing thing, when I was 15, I had a week off of school, but I had a social studies report due, so I grabbed my mom's typewriter and her secretary book that she had from college to teach her how to type. And I learned the fingering, but I didn't touch type yet at that age. But, of course, using keyboards in my career as a computer programmer, I am a touch typist now. One thing I've noticed with the computer keyboard is that I have a tendency to wear the letters off the key, the little white letters on the keyboard, computer keyboard. And for some reason, the letter L, Lima, is the first to go. You would think it would be Echo or Sierra or Tango, but no, it's Lima.
And so when that letter finally wears off, I call it a Christmas keyboard, because I'm celebrating no L. KW2KW, back to you.
Oh, I have missed your jokes, Lou. You're making me laugh. That's really interesting. Why would it be the L? We know that's not the most used letter. Maybe it has something to do with the pressure that you happen to put on that finger. I don't know. That would be a good scientific study. Well, thank you very much for adding. We have a few people lurking. I'll give a quick opportunity. If anybody wishes to get quickly on the list, let me know now. We're listening.
Delta X-ray Romeo.
Delta X-ray Romeo, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Patti. This is WB60XR. I just wanted to meet everybody. My wife's home, and I've got chores to do to help her bring stuff in, so I'm going to take off, but it's been a pleasure. And hopefully next week I can sit in for both rounds. But thanks for having me, WB60XR.
All right, very good, Les. Thanks for letting us know you're taking off, and good having you with us here. You have a great signal, and really enjoy having you here. All right, we normally do a second round, but we still have a really long list, so I think in view of the fact that we are 7 minutes from the top of 0300 Zulu hour, we will forego the second round, but I will leave it open for anybody who needs to break in with a comment, and go now, just say break or something so that I know you want to be recognized. Okay, everyone is quiet, so you must be tired and want to go eat or something. Thank you very much for all being here. It's been fun. Really have enjoyed hearing all of your comments and the different viewpoints everybody has. This net has surprised me often with the variety of viewpoints. So thanks so much for contributing and being here. It was a lot of fun. This is KE7IR. I'll stick around for a little while if anybody has a question or a comment or anything. And then I'll talk to you all next Sunday. Good having you here. This is KE7IR, and the frequency will